2026 has already brought enough films for completely different evenings. From grand space sci-fi to intimate horror, set almost entirely aboard an airplane. Familiar heroes, strange signals from space, grim investigations, historical chaos, unusual romance, and endless yellow corridors where it's impossible to tell where the next door leads. All await us. All the films in this selection are already available to viewers in good quality. We'll only break down the premise, the mood, and the main feature of each film. No spoilers, no major twists, and no lengthy retellings. Just choose a genre that fits your mood. And we're starting now. Kara Zor-El's Supergirl is nothing like the flawless savior everyone expects to see. She's strong, sharp, and stubborn, and other people's expectations irritate her more than they make her behave properly. When a dangerous enemy strikes too close to home, Kara embarks on an interstellar journey with an unexpected companion. Both want justice, but their personalities, methods, and reasons for seeing things through are noticeably different. So their shared path quickly becomes not just a fight against an external threat, but also a constant argument about who has a right to make decisions. Flights, alien worlds, chases, and large-scale confrontations keep the pace high, but it's Kara herself who holds the attention. She acts impulsively, argues, makes mistakes, and at times looks like someone for whom immense power has only made life more complicated. This kind of character allows the film to shift moods quickly. A serious conversation can end with sharp joke, and noisy scenes can give way to unexpectedly quiet moments. The film's vibe adds liveliness and provides several breathers between tough decisions. Don't expect a copy of Superman's story. Kara has a different temperament, different life experience, and a much more complicated relationship with her own past. Her companion also isn't just a regular guide to plot. She has her own reasons for demanding answers and seeing things through. The large-scale episodes can sometimes seem too noisy, but Kara's character prevents the film from dissolving into ordinary space action. Even familiar genre elements feel different when a heroine doesn't strive to be a perfect symbol and openly resists the role imposed on her. Flight 298 takes the familiar fear of flying and quickly strips passengers of even the illusion of control. An ordinary passenger flight goes smoothly until technical malfunctions begin on board. Unexplained phenomena occur, and communication with a familiar world becomes unreliable. People don't know what to believe, and the cramped cabin becomes a place where you can't simply step away from danger. You can't leave the plane, help won't appear through the next door, and any panic instantly spreads to others. Tension is created by the noise of instruments, sudden shutdowns, strange coincidences, and the feeling that what's happening is far more serious than an ordinary accident. In tone, it's a mix of sci-fi, horror, and disaster thriller. Events start quickly, and the situation on board keeps getting worse. Passengers react differently. Some try to figure out the malfunctions, others look for someone to blame, and a third group succumbs to panic very quickly. Another threat emerges. People begin to fear each other almost as much as they fear what's happening around them. The scale remains deliberately intimate. Most of the tension is tied to the airplane cabin, passenger behavior, and a feeling of complete isolation. So don't expect the spectacle of a big disaster film. Instead of massive destruction, the film focuses on how quickly fear destroys order among passengers. The result is a compact genre thriller, where a few meters of cabin space become a place with no safe spot. The main thing is to go in expecting an intimate film, not an expensive blockbuster about a global catastrophe. The worse the situation gets, the harder it is for passengers to tell whether the greater danger comes from what's happening to the plane or from the panic that's broken out on board. Message for Isabel begins with a simple and deeply awkward situation. Jill lives in San Francisco and keeps leaving voicemails for her deceased sister. She tells her about work, failed dates, family problems, and the small disasters of everyday life, convinced she's speaking into emptiness. But the number already belongs to someone else, a realtor named Wes from Austin. He accidentally becomes a listener of her most honest confessions and gradually feels a connection to a woman he's never met. From this situation grows a romantic comedy with a rather sad foundation. Humor arises from Jill's talkativeness, her ability to turn any failure into a long confession, and from how strange Wes's position becomes. At the same time, the story doesn't forget why the messages exist in the first place. Jill is trying to move forward, but the habit of talking to her sister remains a way to keep a loved one close. So light-hearted episodes sit alongside quieter, more personal scenes. The romantic line develops slowly, through messages, chance coincidences, and encounters between two people who spent a long time not sharing the same space. There's no big external conflict or complex intrigue. Everything rests on the characters and a fairly conventional but understandable premise. Wes's behavior might seem questionable. After all, he gains access to deeply personal words. Jill's discomfort isn't completely ignored, though the story gives it less time than the romantic line itself. The result is a soft, sometimes funny, and slightly sad film for an evening when you want a human story. Head of dramatic pressure, colors of evil. Black sends prosecutor Leopold Bilski to a small town in Kashubia, which seems too peaceful for a serious investigation. Almost immediately, a child disappears, and the first clues unexpectedly resemble an old missing persons case. Bilski quickly realizes that locals know far more than they're willing to say out loud. Everyone here has a neighbor, a relative, or an influential acquaintance. So a simple question can easily become a threat to a long-established order. The investigation develops slowly. Bilski talks to residents, checks old connections, and gradually understands that the child's disappearance touches people accustomed to keeping shared secrets. Instead of nonstop action, the film offers cold landscapes, heavy silence, and a feeling that behind the beautiful houses, unpleasant secrets have long been piling up. Leopold acts persistently, but he doesn't come across as an all-knowing detective. He misjudges people, faces resistance, and is forced to untangle connections that existed long before his arrival. The case doesn't turn into a neat puzzle. Each new step runs into fear, personal interest, and the locals' reluctance to tell the truth. There aren't many chases or shootouts. Many scenes are built on conversations, unspoken words, and suspicious silence. This pace might feel heavy for those expecting quick answers after every scene. Familiarity with the previous film will help understand some characters better, but the new investigation stands on its own. This is a grim provincial detective story where an old case gradually becomes part of a new one, and almost every character has something to hide. Star Signal poses a dangerous question. What happens if humanity receives a message from space and decides to answer before understanding its meaning? Scientists work with a device built for communication with extraterrestrial intelligence. After repairs, it finally receives a signal, but the team immediately starts arguing. Some believe such a chance can't be missed. Others warn that the unknown correspondent might not be friendly at all. The decision to send a reply anyway sets off a chain of events that extend far beyond the laboratory. The pace is deliberately calm. Scientists debate risk, responsibility, and whether humanity should answer a message of unknown origin. Gradually, the experiment's consequences affect the familiar world, and the participants realize that the decision can no longer be undone. The main mystery is the signal itself. What exactly did people hear? An invitation to talk? A warning? Or something for which humanity simply has no explanation? The film carefully reveals information and maintains uncertainty for a long time. Don't expect space battles or large-scale invasions. The focus is on scientists, their disagreements, and the consequences of a hasty decision. The scale is noticeably more modest than big alien contact films, but the intimacy allows for a focus on moral choice and the fear of misunderstanding. Star Signal is a quiet sci-fi puzzle about contact whose meaning humanity may have gotten wrong. The irreversible step has already been taken, and no one can predict the consequences. The House of Savages transports us to 18th century England, where the savage couple tries to appear richer, more influential, and more noble than they actually are. Sir Chauncey is drowning in debt, but continues to act as if the family's position can be fixed with one grand gesture. His wife, Lady Savage, understands the situation far better and knows how to steer the chaos in the right direction. When an opportunity arises to host the Duke and Duchess at their estate, the couple decides that one perfect visit will restore their status. Preparation quickly spirals out of control. The house needs repairs, servants know too much, relatives create new problems, and the attempt to impress leads to scandals, duels, and increasingly absurd decisions. The film plays on the clash between beautiful costumes and the rather dirty reality of the era. Prim conversations easily end in crude jokes, and people with grand titles behave worse than those they consider beneath them. The main source of comedy is the contrast between the leads, Richard E. Grant turns Chauncey into a loud and overconfident adventurer, while Claire Foy responds with dry remarks and cold calculation. Together, they look like a couple capable of surviving any catastrophe, as long as they can blame someone else for it. The film's humor is crude and deliberately unpleasant, so don't expect an elegant, calm costume comedy. This is a historical black comedy with rapid-fire banter, class satire, and a constant feeling that every attempt to maintain dignity will end in even greater humiliation. The more seriously the couple tries to save face, the funnier the next disaster looks. Eat, pray. Slim turns a promise of quick weight loss into the premise of a dark supernatural horror. Hannah is a medical student struggling with her appearance and hoping that a sudden change will help her feel more confident. A strange fad appears in her circle, a supplement promising nearly impossible results. Hannah decides to try it, though the supplement's origins raise serious questions. Very quickly, the desired change herself collides with frightening consequences, and her familiar life begins to crumble under the pressure of obsessive thoughts and an unexplained presence. The film deliberately makes many scenes uncomfortable. The camera lingers on food, bodily sensations, and moments when the heroine loses control over her own decisions. The source of fear is tied to Hannah herself. The surrounding expectations have long made her see herself as a problem that urgently needs fixing. The horror gradually amplifies this pressure and turns internal anxiety into a real threat. Black humor occasionally eases attention, but the overall tone remains heavy and deliberately unpleasant. The film contains elements of body horror, obsessive states, and scenes designed to discomfort, so it's clearly not meant for light viewing. The story doesn't offer easy comfort or try to turn quick change into a magical solution to all problems. It shows how dangerous obsession with fast results and imposed ideals of perfection can become. After watching this film, advertisements for miracle cures really do start sounding more alarming. Storm Tamer. Legend of the Hammerhead takes us to a world that survived a great flood 3 centuries ago. People live on scattered islands, and the safest place is said to be the fortified city of Argos. Getting there requires surviving dangerous water races, where participants risk their lives for the right to gain asylum for their people. 2 young islanders, Ned and Anna, doubt that salvation truly lies behind the city walls. They want to cross the massive storm and find out what lies on the other side. The film blends post-apocalyptic adventure with sports racing. Instead of cars, there are speedboats. Instead of familiar tracks, there are waves, wind, and wreckage of a world long underwater. Visually, the film is memorable for its open water, unusual vessels, and races where participants have to battle not only each other, but also the elements themselves. The world is built on a clear contrast. Poor island settlements versus the closed, wealthy city, and people offer the chance to fight each other for a place of safety. At the same time, the film tries to fit in a lot of rules, terminology, and explanations about the past. Sometimes mythology overloads the plot, and some storylines pass too quickly, so you have to pay closer attention to details than you'd expect from an ordinary adventure. Despite all the explanations, the water world, races, and closed-off Argos retain the feel of a grand adventure. The main mystery is what lies beyond the storm, and why no one has dared to go there for so long. For Ned and Anna, the journey becomes a test not only of courage, but also of trust in a system that promises salvation only to those willing to risk their lives for a place behind the walls. Behind the scenes of reality sends therapist Mary Lane into an endless labyrinth of yellow corridors, where one of her patients has disappeared. The further she goes from the entrance, the less the place obeys familiar logic. Rooms repeat, distances shift, and the way back gradually loses meaning. Familiar objects look as if someone tried to recreate the human world from an inaccurate description. The film is based on the internet phenomenon Backrooms, but doesn't require knowledge of old videos or stories. The core fear is immediately understandable. A person finds themselves in a vast building with no windows, no map, and no clear exit. Space itself becomes the enemy. It doesn't have to attack directly, because identical walls, the hum of fluorescent lights, and the loss of direction gradually do the work. The journey has a clear goal: find a missing person, before the space itself robs Mary the chance to return. The pace is often slow, allowing the viewer to examine the corridors, hear distant sounds, and anticipate danger that isn't there yet. There are few monsters or loud jump scares on screen. The main tension comes from repeating rooms, distant noises, and a constant feeling that the way back is disappearing faster than the heroine can remember it. This approach might seem too calm for those expecting nonstop scares. The slow pace lets you feel just how frightening a space can become when you can't tell distance or direction. The longer the heroine remains inside, the harder it is to distinguish the real path from another repetition created by the labyrinth itself. An ordinary door might lead not to the next room, but somewhere else entirely, a place that never intended to let you go. Day of Disclosure confronts humanity with a fact that has been considered a rumor for decades. Someone knows the truth about extraterrestrial life and really doesn't want to share it with the rest of the world. Daniel Kellner, a cybersecurity specialist, gains access to information related to years of contacts and classified programs. After that, he becomes a fugitive. Meanwhile, meteorologist Margaret Ford encounters changes that gradually connect her to the same hidden history. Their paths converge when it becomes clear that the evidence exists, but showing it to the world will be harder than finding it. The film blends sci-fi, conspiracy, and a pursuit of truth. There's surveillance, data analysis, government secrets, and the constant question of whom people will believe, even if they see confirmation with their own eyes. Margaret, played by Emily Blunt, tries to understand why she's become part of the story, while Daniel, played by George O'Connor, is already focused on publishing the evidence. Their shared goal unites them, but doesn't eliminate their disagreements. Steven Spielberg once again turns to the theme of contact with extraterrestrial life, but now the action takes place in a world where any document can be declared a forgery and any proof can be dismissed as just another conspiracy theory. Don't expect a large-scale war with aliens. The focus is on evidence, state secrets, and a reaction to people asked to believe the impossible. When the truth finally comes within reach, the hardest part becomes convincing the world that it's real. In this selection of 10, there are films for completely different moods. For a quiet evening, you can choose Message for Isabel. For a dark investigation, head to Colors of Evil, Black. For a more unsettling viewing, save Star Signal, Flight 298, or Behind the Scenes Reality. For large-scale adventures, go with Supergirl and Storm Tamer. And for black comedy, look no further than A House of Savages. Now tell us in the comments, which of these have you already watched, and which film would you add to the next selection? Support this episode with a like and subscribe.